Hello, my name is Hugh Knight, and I've been asked to prepare a video about the Zornhau Ort and the plays that are associated with it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the right way to start, which is the right way to stand, the guard of Fompog. The Fompog is executed by standing in defog with a balanced stance, which means your feet and shoulders, your feet are about shoulders width apart, front to back, and a little longer than shoulders width apart, side to side. So then you stand with your cross up above your shoulder, your elbow down. You don't want to stand up all cramped and tight like this. It's a relaxed posture. Okay? A lot of people argue that Fompog is only done with the sword over the head. And while many masters show that, the masters that we primarily rely upon mention it, but practically every time they discuss it during the actual plays that they're talking about, they usually say to cut from the right shoulder, which means that they're talking about this Fompog as it is shown in Von Danzig, rather than the over-the-head Fompog as we see in, for example, Paula's Call. Now, one of the most important things that people misunderstand about the Zornhau is that the Zornhau is not a huge cleaving cut. It doesn't start by swinging back, and it doesn't end by cutting all the way to the ground. We know this because we have the Dobringer house book, which wasn't written by Dobringers, everybody knows, but we all call it that. And in Dobringer, he clearly says that cuts are to end with the point aimed at your opponent's face or breast, which implies clearly that you're not cutting to the ground. We also know not to swing the sword back first. That's the sign of a buffalo or a buffalo, a big, clumsy fighter who relies on strength. And it telegraphs your intention so your opponent can see what you're going to do. Now, another thing that Dobringer tells us is that when you cut, you want to cut as though there was a cord tied from the edge of your sword directly to the target. That isn't what you get with a big, wide, swinging blow. What he wants, he says, he who cuts wide will be shamed. What he wants is a direct, straight cut. And the only way to accomplish that is by using a push-pull motion of your hands. Okay? It's not really a big swinging motion of your arms at all. In fact, none of the Meisterhau are big swinging motions of the arms. Almost all of them are done with a push-pull motion of the hands. To accomplish that, you begin by pushing off with your right hand in a straight line, almost as if you were punching the target. And as you do so, you pull up and back with the left hand to make your direct straight cut. Now, as you can see, this makes for a very precise, short cut. All right? So, that is the Zornhau. The important thing to note about it, too, is that I execute it by moving my hands first and then stepping after. This is called following the blow. Master Sigmund Ringegg says, he who does not follow the blow will be shamed. That's because we throw the hands first in order to clear the path between us and the enemy. Now, plays of the Zornhau are really mostly actions from the bind of the Zornhau or counters to the Zornhau. We're going to discuss what happens, what do we do to counter the Zornhau. So if my opponent attacks me with a Zornhau, I don't just want to hit his sword and bind into it. Who's in charge of this bind now? Who's controlling this bind now? Nobody. The person who wins is the person who moves first from the bind. This is not good art. Good art takes control of the engagement and wins it on art, not on physical ability, speed, hand speed, timing, anything like that. So instead, as he cuts, I cut and thrust. Okay? Well, let's show that in slow motion. As he cuts, I wait, and I wait, and I wait, until his sword is almost to there. Then I bind with a slicing movement down along his sword, and then step. Now, as you can see, this has pushed his blade well out to the side so that it can't possibly hit me, while at the same time hitting him with a thrust. Now, there are some people who believe that the Zornhau Ort is supposed to be a simultaneous strike, so that as he cuts, I cut and hit him. This is not supported by the text. The text clearly says, bind with his sword and then thrust. And you can't thrust if you're aiming past your opponent, where you would have to be in order to hit him. Therefore, we clearly know That is not the Zornhau Ort as it is envisioned. Another thing to notice is that I do not bind with his sword here, because if I do, he'll just drive right through and hit me regardless. I also don't swing straight down, because if I cut straight down as he attacks, I won't move his sword out enough to the side. So what I need to do is to cut on a slight angle and then step. And the step is the thrust. That's where my kill happens. Now, if you get into a fight, 90% of the time against an average swordsman, that would be all you'd need to win. But a more skilled swordsman, when he sees that point coming at him, will react negatively to it. And he's likely to either push my point up and away or down and out in order to protect himself as I begin the thrust. So, in slow motion, if he pushes the point up and away, as my point comes in, from here I must Zucken. And I accomplish that not by swinging my arms back, but by a levering action of my hands and wrists, and then cut back into it. Now, a lot of people get this wrong. They think it's a step and a cut to the other side. When we look at the Polish-Tal Feck book, it's very clear that by the other side of that when the text says the other side, it means the other side of your opponent's sword. So in practice, that's what it looks like. Now notice that I did not wait to start my scissors action in my hand until his sword had completed its deflection. I pulled out of the bind while he was still moving. Now the same thing if he pushes down. If he pushes down on my thrust, I can't Zucken. So instead, I pull out and thrust with the Durchwechseln. So if he pushes down, I Durchwechseln. If he pushes up and out to the side, I do a Zucken. Those are the absolute basic minimum ideas behind the Zornhau Ort. It is not the Zornhau itself which is truly the deadly technique, but the Zornhau Ort and the plays that come from it. Thank you.